Test, 1, 2, test. Good evening and welcome to Bradford. We got the Rattlers and the Knights of Meaford coming up. It's Sunday Night Hockey on GMHL TV momentarily. Check. Quick look at our starting netminders tonight for the visiting Knights of Meaford. American Shane Brannick gets the start, a .412 record, .874 save percentage, and a .545 goals against. Patrick Cullen gets the nod for the Rattlers. 13-3 on the season, a .919 save percentage, and a .228 goals against. Puck drop coming up next in Bradford. It's the first place Rattlers and the visiting Knights of Meaford. When we come back, you're watching Rattler Hockey on GMHL TV. Good evening and welcome to the BWG Leisure Center. Carlos Freddy with you as we get set for the Bradford Rattlers and the Knights of Meaford on GMHL TV. Carlos Freddy filling in for JR tonight in Bradford. Excited for this contest as the top team in the GMHL's North Division, entertaining the young and developing Knights of Meaford. The Rattlers entering play at 21-6 on the season. Meaford 6-19. Nathan Parrish and Christoph Kirchmeier kind of splitting the duties behind the bench at this point in time. Should be an entertaining one tonight. We've got the Rattlers and the Knights coming up next from the BWG Leisure Center. We'll be back with starting goaltenders and puck drop. You're watching Bradford Rattlers hockey on GMHL TV. Welcome back to the broadcast booth here in Bradford. Carlos Freddy with you. So glad you could join us on this Sunday evening. It's the Bradford Rattlers and the Knights of Meaford. A look now at our starting netminders. Patrick Cullen, the veteran Swede, gets the start between the pipes for the hometown Rattlers. 13-3 on the season with a .919 save percentage and a .228 goals against average. For the visitors from Meaford, they'll turn to American netminder Shane Brannock, 4-12 record on the season, an .874 save percentage, and a .545 goals against average. David Mooney's Rattlers will get the night started with Roman Orikov and Sergei Sherbakov on the back end. The all-Russian starting five, Stepan Bolotov and Sergei Sarev on either side of Mikhail Plotnikov. For the visitors from Meaford, the top line, Eric Wallstein and Giordano Schwar on either side of Matusz Trokan. On the back end, Mitchell Behrens, recently back from suspension, and Michel Croteau get the start. So we are off and running on this Sunday night, GMHL TV. Carlos Freddy filling in for JR tonight. Happy to be with you. Knights going left to right on your screen in the black with the red trim. Rattlers in over the line with Plotnikov. Plotnikov drives his shot. Brannock holds firm at the right side of the net, gets tied up with Plotnikov thereafter. That puck is going to be sent the length of the ice. Sherbakov back on it, and icing waved off. Now Wallstein tries to center it in front for Trokan. That's turned over. Back the other way, racing ahead in over the line they come with Sarev. Sarev makes a move, backhand effort, and unable to get a shot away. At the side of the net was Bolotov. As that puck sent the length of the ice all the way to Mr. Cullen, doing the net-minding duties tonight after Nikita Radchenko was so good in Bradford's 4-3 win over Wasaga on Tuesday. Chistikov over center. The Estonian national team member sends that high and deep over Cullen and in behind the goal. Now it's Gabriel Mamadov. Mamadov in over the line left side with a head of steam. We'll see what the Rattlers' top line can do. This is a Meaford team that has really struggled to keep the puck out of their own net, especially of late. Long shot, Brannick to save it, kind of handcuffed him off the stick of Jonathan Venus. And this is my second time seeing Brannick this year. He was pulled when I saw him in Oshawa against the Roadrunners. It's been a challenging season for the Knights. They've had a coaching change and obviously a very tough schedule playing in the North Division. 6-19 entering play tonight, also one of the youngest teams in the GMHL. There's Carlson, his shot shouldered away by Brannick. And now the Knights will try and come back the other way. Wallstein plays it up off the wall, shades of an offside, none called. And Schwar plays that around to the near side, but it's corralled by the Rattlers. Racing ahead, Dobretsky. Turned back by the captain, Kroto, and now Schwar. Tried to headman that, but it's corralled by Mamadov, and now the Rattlers will regroup. Jonathan Venus played us up the right wing side. Headman pass intended for Platikov goes too far. Now it's Dobretsky. In on the forecheck, Wallstein, Eric Wallstein. Through his own zone, tries a toe drag. Wallstein on this top line alongside Prokan and Schwar. It's an all-European look for Meaford. And now in over the line with head of steam. There's Myerchick scores! David Myerchick off the rush. It beats Shane Brannick over that glove side shoulder, and it's 1-0 Rattlers. Well, you put the puck on net, good things will happen, so the saying goes. For David Myerchick, it's going to be his 8th of the season, 17th point overall, and just like that, possibly even faster than anybody expected, it's 1-0 Bradford. Certainly not a scoreline that would surprise anybody around the league, but well, that's a tough goal for Brannick to give up over the shoulder, kind of off a nothing 2-on-2 rush. Brannick reverses that to the near side. Seitz sends it on net. That hit a leg, didn't make it to the goal. Puck to the line, held in there by Arseny Ovakimian. And you can see Meaford struggling to even clear their own lines right now. That was Shepard Dobeka. He couldn't clear the zone. Now it's Seitz. Seitz, his shot off a leg and one. Shipley got in the lane. LeBlanc played to the line, held there. Now second effort, LeBlanc ahead. So Myerchick announced as the goal scorer, and that's where we stand. That angle shot loved by Brannick. It'll hang on for a face-off. But it's interesting, you look at the GMHL North Division standings entering play tonight, and well, this Meaford team knows exactly what's in store for them. They're 12 points back of Ville-Marie as it stands, with about 12-13 games remaining in their schedule. Puck, one back to the line. Orikov, his shot blocked on the way to the net and not cleared again. That time it was Toivonen failing to clear the zone. Orikov leaves that down below the goal line, trying to work out Bolotov. Bolotov into the near corner. Plays it high, Sarev. His shot redirected in front and wide. Now Sarev works in. His shot scores! Sergei Sarev wires one home, and it's 2-0 Rattlers. In almost an identical spot to Myerchick's opener, Sergei Sarev's 14th of the season, and it's 2-0 Bradford. From bad to worse for Meaford, and they'll change the lines accordingly, but really just outgunned. I mean, we haven't even had a chance to get into our game file yet, but one of the talking points was the fact that the Knights have given up 5 or more in 5 of their last 6. They're 1-5 in that stretch, and obviously keeping a team as offensively firepowered as the Rattlers was always going to be a tough task indeed. That was Venus to the line, Carlson. Carlson works the line. Isak Carlson in and around his men. Couple of moves, centering effort in front, unable to get a shot off was Mamadov. Now it's Isak Carlson. Carlson works the line. Carlson Turns it over, and now back the other way. Here's an opportunity. Matusz Trokan. Trokan in alone, kicked away by Cullen. Follow-up effort, another save by Cullen, so good to see he hadn't gone cold. Now it's Dobretsky. Dobretsky in and around Kroto. That shot blockered away by Brannick. Shepard getting worked on there in his own zone. He's going to leave that for Behrens, and now Mitchell Behrens. The American blue liner leaves that for Kroto, the captain. His clearing effort off a leg ends up back with Behrens. Now Mitchell Behrens, as we mentioned, off a suspension served earlier this month. Kurbanov flips that towards Cullen. Cullen's going to leave that in the near corner. So 2-0 Rattlers leading. Goals from David Mayerchik and Sergei Sarev. Now Mayerchik spins off a check. Carlson shot. Off a leg, didn't make it in front. Now Mayerchik blockered away by Brannick. Centering effort, side of the net. It is all Rattlers right now in this one. Somorovsky sent around to the far corner. Rattlers will set up on the half wall. All Bradford in this one. Now it's Yanis Seitz. Seitz, his shot off a leg. Follow-up went wide. And that's cleared the length of the ice for a much-needed icing by the Knights. But this could be a long, long evening for Shane Brannick between the pipes for Meaford. One-way traffic outside of that against the run-of-play breakaway opportunity. So 2-0 Rattlers leading. Mayerchik and Sarev the goal scorers. Puck sent to the line, held in at the line by Sherbakov. Now cycled low, centering effort off a leg and wide. Played around to the near side, Orakov. Orakov trying to play it down the half wall, gets it back. His shot blockered away by Brannick. Good bump there as Behrens got the body in on his man. Puck played to the line, past Orakov and down the ice. Has to be said, Patrick Cullen, such an impressive netminder, moves so well. He hasn't faced a ton of rubber this year, obviously. That shot caught by Brannick and will hang on somewhat awkwardly for a face-off to his left. That came off the stick of Brian Kopech, the fourth-line center tonight for the Rattlers. So deep down the middle of the ice, Adam Dobretsky, Mikhail Plotnikov, David Mayerchik, and Brian Kopech. All four of those guys can do different things to hurt you as the opposition, and well, I think it's that depth. I had the chance to see the Northumberland Stars as there's a turnover, and now back the other way. Here's an opportunity. LeBlanc in, can't get a shot away as he was knocked off it by Matvei Munitz. Bolotov plays it around to the far side. Now the Rattlers will come away through the neutral zone. Munitz, headman feed intended for Bolotov, turned over though, and back the other way. Michael Alexander Timraz Olsen, the Norwegian, sends it in deep, looks for a change. Puck played past Wallstein, and that's going to go for an icing against the Rattlers. But going back to our game file, for Meaford, it's been keeping the puck out of the net that's been really problematic. For the Rattlers, it's all systems go outside of that one loss on the back of Yaroslav Gorenkov's outing against Durham, where Gorenkov, the Roadrunners' Russian netminder, just simply would not be beat when it mattered in the third period. Outside of that, it's been smooth sailing for David Mooney's team, 21-6 on the season entering play tonight. Power plays operating near 25%. Penalty kill around 90. As mentioned, it's all systems go for the Rattlers. Seen a couple of turnovers, though, in bad spots on the ice, and that's something that I'm sure Coach Mooney is going to touch on at the first intermission. Couple of odd man rushes, the one breakaway save required as Brannick blows a tire behind his net. Now puck in the near corner, played up off the wall to the point. That's Ovakimian, cross ice for Venice. Venice, Ovakimian. And now into the far corner, foot race for it. And it's played up off the wall, but past Wallstein. Now puck loose in the slot. There's a shot kicked away by Brannick as Sarev was looking for his second of the night. Matusz Trokan in over the line left side. Holds up, leaves it. Wallstein, his shot stuck into the near corner by Cullen. Rattlers back the other way with Dobretsky. Here's Dobretsky in over the line. Dobretsky tried to dish it off, but a late whistle on an offside. Face-off's going to come back into the neutral zone with 12:03 to play in this first period. It is all Rattlers at this point, leading 2-0, and frankly, tough to see a way back into this hockey game for the Knights of Meaford. We've made some early calls this season on the GMHL TV decision desk, but I gotta say, if the Rattlers can nab one more here in the first, that might just be curtains tonight. Mamedov regroups in the neutral zone, spins off a check, still Mamedov, plays it into the offensive zone, and it's Croteau. Headman pass to nobody in particular, and Ovakimian to the near side, sights. Stretch feed finds Mamedov, still Mamedov. Centering effort, blockered away by Brannick. Croteau played it, looking for Toivonen. That's turned over, and the Rattlers will be able to regroup in the offensive zone. Only momentarily, though. A little bit of sloppy play here at even strength. Now Dobrecki, headman Carlson. Carlson has Mamedov with him. Centering effort off a skate and wide. Now it's Tatu Toivonen. Toivonen gets over the offensive line. Tries to work past his man, and he's turned right back around. LeBlanc leaves that for Shepard Dobecka, who puts it right onto the stick of Carlson. Now Carlson, wraparound effort, still Isak Carlson. He's hooked off it, no call coming, he wanted one. Orikov, cross ice, and the Rattlers are going to come right back in on that near side. That was Philip Holander, brings it around to the far side. Body's starting to bounce here as well. As Dobecka took a hit up high, he's a little shaken up. Now to the near side. Venice. Venice's shot redirected wide off the stick of Somorovsky. Now Venice. Cross ice feed. There's a shot. Brannick makes the chest save and hangs on off the stick of Sergei Sherbakov. Carlos Verde with you on the call tonight. GMHL TV. We appreciate those of you tuned in on YouTube. GMHL TV. 2-0 Rattlers leading. Mayerchuk and Sarev the goals. D-zone draw won by Samir Kurbanov, the rookie out of Ottawa. But puck bounces up into the slot. That shot stopped by Brannick. And still the Rattlers go to work in the offensive zone. Mizagov shot, hit a body, and now back the other way come the Knights. Through the neutral zone, Shepard dump in, patted away by Cullen. And now the Rattlers come back through the neutral zone, left wing side, Mizagov tried to drop that into the slot, broken up. Now Millions, headman for Shepard, but you can just see the Knights are a little bit outgunned tonight. They don't have the speed to capitalize in transition. Mizagov up through the neutral zone now. Venice driving his shot. Brannick the save. Puck is loose. They score! Dragoman Mizagov buries the rebound, and it's 3-0 Rattlers. And Mizagov's fired up. Funny to see, there were about 3 different Rattlers looking to take credit in front. Berezin led the charge, but I'm 90% sure it was Mizagov. Regardless, it's 3-0 Rattlers. So Mayerchuk, Sarev, and Mizagov, your goal scorers. Bradford in full control tonight, and the decision desk just about ready to call this one with 50 minutes to play. Nice second effort there by Ovakimian to break up what would have been an odd man rush for Meaford. Bolotov finds Plotnikov. He's turned back at the offensive line, and now it's Ovakimian. Another one of those great pickups for this Rattler team. Here's Plotnikov. Plotnikov working in, makes a move. Great save, Brannick, as he flashes the left pad. Long shot, another blocker save by Brannick. Yanis Seitz will come back in the neutral zone. And that's played ahead onto the stick of Sarev. Turned Turned over in the D zone. Bolotov plays the give and go. Now it's Seitz. Seitz, his shot, found by Brannick through a maze of bodies, and he's not happy with his team. He's not happy with the officiating. He keeps throwing the puck away from the official, which you don't typically see very often at this level of hockey. But 3-zip your score, and turning into a pretty routine Sunday night for the Rattlers. Orakov tried to send it on net. That was broken up by Schwar. Now Dobretsky, wraparound, centering effort, loose at the side, and Brannick got a stick on it. Now back the other way, Giordano Schwar. Schwar plays it into the slot, tried to find Wallstein. Schwar into the far corner, Mitchell Behrens pinches, holds the zone. Couple bodies come together, and now racing away through the neutral zone, Dobretsky. Here's Adam Dobretsky, drops it off, puck loose in the slot, and a pretty wicked trip there from Croteau, as he took the legs out from underneath Gabriel Mamedov, and they don't come much clearer than that. Bradford's excellent power play is going to go to work here for the first time tonight, operating at 25% on the season. Penalty kill has struggled at times this year for the Knights, and well, you certainly feel for them. Lots of respect for what the ownership and management group is doing. They're going young, they're trying to build something, they're putting together a strong program, but in the North Division where there's so many loaded teams, that's always a struggle. Foot race for it, Cullen comes out and saves the day as LeBlanc was bearing down shorthanded. Back the other way, here come the Rattlers. Carlson. Isak Carlson works in his cross-ice pass, broken up, and cleared well by the Knights' penalty kill. Out for the first time tonight. So 3-0 Rattlers leading, in firm control of this one, as everybody would have expected. First versus last in the North tonight. Venus brings it around for Dobretsky. Rattlers go to work here on the man advantage. Here's Carlson. Carlson, half wall to the high point. Back for Carlson. Isak Carlson saucered into the slot, broken up, and LeBlanc tries to clear it. Second effort, cannot. Nice job by Venus, holds the zone. Isak Carlson, backdoor pass, great save, Brannick. He gets a piece and sends it off the post. Now LeBlanc's going to get into it at the side of the net, but Shane Brannick with a terrific west-east save coming across to deny the Rattlers the fourth, although all things considered, it feels more like a matter of when, not if, with 6:36 to go in this opening frame. And now some words getting exchanged. LeBlanc and Mikhail Plotnikov. Xavier LeBlanc, certainly an energetic forward on this Meaford team. Did a great job on that penalty kill on that shift. Now Orakov holds the line. Second effort will clear the zone, though, as Matusz Trokan did a nice job there on the PK. Sarev. Orakov. Now Sarev picks it up. Right wing side. Here's Sergei Sarev. Roman Orakov. Near side, that shot. Brannick makes the save. Puck loose. Mamedov recovers for the Rattlers. Mamedov leaves that. Good active stick here for the Rattlers on the man advantage. Sherbakov drops it off. Puck is loose. That's a drive. Mamedov's shot went high and wide. Now Sarev tried to find Mamedov. That's broken up and cleared by Meaford. 10 seconds remaining in the penalty to Croteau. Going to just about do it for the Rattler power play. Certainly had chances. There's a turnover. Now Lucas Karanen. Karanen drives in. His shot high and wide. Cullen ducked out of the way of that one as it rifled by his head. 3-on-1 opportunity. Bolotov. Bolotov dropped off. Backdoor pass. They score! Gabriel Mamedov finishes it off. Bolotov might have got the last touch. There were two Rattlers in the area with no defenseman around, no chance for Brannick, and it's 4-0 Bradford. Looks like Stepan Bolotov is going to lead the celebration line, so we'll give it to him here in the press box. It'll go down as an even strength marker, but boy oh boy, from bad to worse for the visiting Knights of Meaford. 4-0 Rattlers lead here with 5 and change to play in the first. Seitz turned over at his own line. Shepard's had a good night so far for the Knights. Now here's Kurbanov. Kurbanov tried to find Millions. McClellan will ring that in deep. And Stepan Bolotov with the goal. His 6th of the season. Racing back in over the line. Here come the Rattlers. There's a kick saved by Brannick. Puck is loose. McClellan can't clear. Back to the line, Ovakimian. Ovakimian had it knocked off his stick. And again, the Knights immediately under pressure. You can just see the speed difference between these two teams. Seitz turns that over onto the stick of a Knight, and now it's Millions. He was tied up with a man, and now Ovakimian. Played to the line, McClellan. McClellan, long shot, kick save, Cullen. A little bit of rough stuff now, as Kurbanov got tied up with his man. Puck into the neutral zone. McClellan holds his ground well. And it's Arseny Ovakimian. Retreating behind his own net. Boy, the North Division playoffs are going to be a lot of fun. You look at Wasaga, you look at, well, really, I know Ville Marie's cooled off as of late. The Rattlers put, I believe it was 10 on them last week, but there's some good hockey teams in that North Division, and there's going to be some excellent playoff matchups on deck. Bradford 21-6, Wasaga 19-4-2. Tottenham loves the rough stuff. They can play. There's a shot. Wide off the stick of Jonathan Venas. Now it's Matvei Munitz. Munitz into the slot. Puck rolled off his stick. And again, the Knights just unable to clear the zone, and that's going to be set. Could have been an icing. Icing mercifully waved off. So 4-0 Rattlers leading here on Sunday Night Hockey, GMHL TV. Carlos Verde on in place of JR, who I understand is getting off a plane right now. I'm assuming at Pearson. Puck turned over to Trokan. Here's a breakaway opportunity. Schwar in alone off the post. And that's the 3rd time tonight that the Knights have had a break or a partial break on Cullen. So even though the Rattlers lead 4-0, they've certainly been, well, some could say careless with the puck in this one. And you can see there's some, we'll call it loud instruction happening on the Rattler bench right now. Sherbakov in over the line. Still Sergei Sherbakov. He's tripped up. Puck rolls all the way to Brannick. Now Mamedov cycles it low. Side of the net. Puck is loose. Corralled by the Knights. Trying to go to work. It's Kopeka. Now LeBlanc. LeBlanc. Headman pass and another breakaway opportunity. Here's Wallstein. Wallstein off the rush. Can't get a shot away. And again, just another opportunity for the Knights. Goes begging. Back the other way, Carlson. Isak Carlson. Backhand centering effort. Goes through the slot. Nobody home. Now Carlson. Puck turned over. It's Orikov. Orikov. Backhand effort. Hit a body. Didn't make it to the net. Mamedov. Cycles it into the near corner. There's the captain, Croteau. LeBlanc. He fails to clear. And finally, it rolls out into the neutral zone. Minute 30 to go in this one. Sherbakov finds Carlson. Carlson's going to start up and leave it for Dobodetsky. Back for Carlson. Carlson makes a move around his man. They've got each other tied up, and Carlson gets roughed up there by Mitchell Behrens. That's one thing about this Knights team. They're not afraid to throw the weight around. Cycled low, Carlson centering effort. A great blocker save by Brannick. Well, Shane Brannick certainly not at fault as that play is called down on a hand pass. 64 seconds to go in this opening frame, and it is all Rattlers at this point. 4-0 they lead. Mayerchik, Sarev, Mizagov, and Molotov, your goal scorers. Draw to the left of Cullen. Bradford zone, won by the Rattlers and flipped up into the neutral zone. Now Carlson. Carlson in and around McClellan. He saw Carlson, drives wide, has it knocked off his stick by McClellan. Now puck along that far side. Plotnikov back to the line. Tried the give and go, and Ovakimian was turned back. Jonathan Venus peels behind his own net. 35 seconds to play in this first frame. Rattlers will regroup, but it's turned over. Now O'Neill played to the far side. There's Tatu Toivonen. Toivonen's shot redirected wide. 20 seconds remaining in this first period. Sergei Sarev works in over the line left side. Plotnikov leaves it for Sarev. Sarev's centering effort. That one-timer from Venice goes high and wide. 5 seconds to play in the period, and that's flipped up into the neutral zone. And that'll just about do it. Venice gains the line. Didn't really know how much time was left, and he'll run out of it. Really the story of life, isn't it? Not enough time to do everything. 4-0 the score. Bradford firmly in front tonight against the Knights of Meaford. You're watching Rattlers hockey on GMHL TV. Welcome back as we get set for the second period in Bradford. The Rattlers leading 4-0. David Meyerchik and Sergei Sarev got things underway. Magomed Bashir Mizagov and Stepan Boletov with the other goals in that opening frame. Believe it or not, Patrick Cullen actually had to be pretty sharp at times. Couple of breakaway saves coming off turnovers. And Carlos Rudy with you on the call tonight, filling in for JR. Want to give a good shout out to our excellent cameraman. We got Daniel Barcon over there doing a great job, staying nice and warm up here in the press area despite the chilly environment. So 4-0 Rattlers lead, and a reminder of the rules here in the GMHL. If the Rattlers hit 6, we will be in a run-time situation. Getting the jacket undone here, nice and ready for action in this middle frame. Second period coming up next on GMHL TV. So back underway on Sunday Night Hockey. Carlos Verde with you. The Knights of Meaford trailing this one 4-0. Through no fault really of Shane Brannick. In over the line they come. Sarev, his centering effort wide, and Brannick ends up getting taken out by his captain Croteau. So the faceoff's going to stay inside the Meaford zone. 14 seconds gone in this second frame. Our fantastic crew from the GMHL getting the net back on its moorings. We appreciate all those of you joining us tonight on GMHL TV, and nice to see a solid view count tonight as well. Back to action. Draw one in the D zone by Meaford, and they'll come back the other way with Giordano Schwar. Schwar chips and chases around his man. Cullen brings it around to the near side. Sarev. Back for Cullen. He backhands that straight back to Sarev. Turned over to Wallstein, and now a foot race for it. Won by Schwar. Puck back to the line. Barons with a shot. Blockered away by Cullen. Now Schwar, again mentioned it off the top. Giordano Schwar, I think, from what I've seen over a game and a half of this Meaford team, I think Giordano Schwar is the best forward on this team. Now I know Matusz Trokan, the center, has more points, but in terms of creating something out of nothing, Giordano Schwar, really impressive. Plotnikov cycles that down low for Venos. Venos takes a bump from Barons. They'll come together on the near side line. Nice to see Kim checking in on GMHL TV's live chat. We encourage you to chime in on the live stream. And over the line, 2-on-2, here's O'Neill. Sends it on net. That's wide glove side. Far side now, it's Toivonen. Puck rung around to the near corner, where it's corralled there by Dobretsky. Here comes Dobretsky through the neutral zone. The Czech Express makes a move into the slot. Dobretsky has it knocked away from him. Now it's Tatu Toivonen. Toivonen, left wing side. His shot redirected wide over the head of Cullen. That's the third time that's happened tonight. Now McClellan in the neutral zone, and you could see Dobretsky think about, am I going to lay the body here? And then he saw it was the 6'4" McClellan and said, I'm going to make a business decision and probably not finish that check. Sent around to the near side, Dobretsky. Headman pass, and now racing ahead, Mamedov. Mamedov, his shot, stick saved by Brannick. Still Mamedov. Mamedov, back to the line, Venos. Now Gabriel Mamedov. Mamedov works the high slot. Cycles it low, looking for Venos. It's knocked off his stick. Back to the line, Mamedov. Long shot, stick save into the near corner by Brannick. Now it's Isak Karlsson, centering effort, and that's blocked on the way to the net. Oh, putting the body on the line in a big way was Mihail Chistikov. And Chistikov is feeling that one. Headman pass, here come the Rattlers 2-on-1. Karlsson works in, holds, tries to drive the slot. Chistikov breaks it up. Now Now Schwar into the neutral zone. Watched there by Ovakimian. Centering effort. Turned over and now back the other way. Headman pass from Somorovsky into the slot. Here come the Rattlers. They score! Second of the night, David Meyercheek. And it's 5-0 Rattlers. Well, this team has so many ways to beat you. And on that one, it was Meyercheek, his second of the night, 9th of the season. And we are now just a solitary goal away from run time tonight. 5-0 Rattlers leading. And this game has gone pretty much according to plan for all parties involved. The Knights, obviously a young team playing a very difficult schedule. Back to the line, Seitz, long shot, went wide glove side. I think Brannick might have been screened. Worth mentioning, backing up tonight for the Knights is Jonathan Gilroy, and you get the sense that another Rattler goal or two might chase Brannick from this game. Again, he's made a number of terrific saves. It's not on him by any stretch, but I'll just trying to give Bradford a different look between the pipes, maybe rest Brannick a little bit. Here's Orakov, one too many moves, turned it over, and now here's Samir Kurbanov in over the line right side, tries to toe drag around his man, separated from that puck by Orakov. Now in the neutral zone, blowing a tire on it was, I believe that was Mizagov, who's got a goal already tonight. That puck sent the length of the ice for an icing by Shepard Dobeka. And you can see a couple of shaking heads on the Knight bench at the icing call. 15:41 to play, second period, 5-0 Rattlers leading. Again, we appreciate you joining us on GMHL TV. Carlos Verdi with you on the call. There's Crozzo, the captain. He had a big milestone in games played earlier this season, right before I called the Knights' game in Oshawa, and we got a penalty coming behind the play as Sherbakov touches up. Believe it's going to be a rough behind the play. Sergei Sarev heads to the box, and Meaford goes to their first man advantage of the night, operating at 12% on the season. Rattlers' penalty kill has been good this year at 89%. And we'll see if Patrick Cullen called into action here. We haven't seen too much of him since a couple of good breakaway saves back in period number 1. Chistikov finds Trokan. Trokan back for Chistikov. Trokan works in his shot. Cullen the save, rebound, and he pounces on it. Had to be sharp there. And this is an interesting look for the Meaford power play. I saw this when they were in Durham. Mitchell Behrens is a top pair defenseman for this Knights team, but on the Meaford power play, he actually serves as the net front presence. So a little bit of a different personnel look for Meaford. They'll win that face-off and set up. Trokan finds Schwar. Schwar has it knocked off his stick, and that's cleared the length of the ice by Orakov. Minute 30 remaining in the penalty to Sergei Sarev. 5 minutes gone in the second frame, and the Rattlers in full control of this one. David Meyercheek with a couple of goals. Sarev on the score sheet as well. Chistikov centering effort finds Trokan, and he forces Cullen into a glove save. Faceoff's going to come to the right side. Rattler zone, 5-0 they lead here in the middle frame. Minute 20 remaining in the Meaford power play. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening. Always a fun time. Junior hockey, nothing better. Got the call a couple of hours ago from GMHL TV stalwart veteran Cliff Kirby. Happy to come on down the highway and help the Rattlers out. And now racing ahead with a head of steam, it's Bolotov. Bolotov found the net in the first period, tried to center it in front. That's broken up by O'Neill. Sam O'Neill, haven't seen a whole lot of him, as that's turned over at the offensive line by Meaford, and now back in over the offensive line. Seitz, Yanis Seitz, still Seitz, winds, fires, Brannick the save, couldn't glove it, and it's settled down by McClellan. 40 seconds to play in the Meaford power play. There's a centering effort. Timraz Olsen had it knocked off his stick by Arseny Ovakimian, and the Rattlers PK will do its job. They'll look to change 3 with Ovakimian staying out. 13:40 to go, period number 2. 5-0 Rattlers leading in the dying embers of the Meaford power play. Jacob Shipley gets over the line, sends it in deep, and Cullen is there. Ovakimian, headman pass intended for Carlson. That hopped over his stick, and it'll roll to Brannick, who turns it over into the near corner. Back to even strength as Sarev out of the box and back to the bench. Now Dobretsky. Dobretsky centered in front. Mamedov rifles one wide. Here's Carlson. Carlson, backdoor pass, centering effort, and it goes just wide off the stick of Mamedov. Now Dobretsky. Dobretsky works the line, has it turned over, and now back the other way. Here come the Knights with a head of steam. Schwar. Giordano Schwar cycled it low looking for Trokan. That's broken up. Rattlers will have to regroup. There's Venas. Venas to the near side. Matvey Munitz plays it into the far corner where Carlson, the leading goal scorer, ends up with the puck on his stick. Carlson on 74 points, but he turns it over. Here's Timraz Olsen in alone. Glove save Cullen, and he sends it into the far corner. So Patrick Cullen has made about 5 saves tonight, but 4 of them have been on breakaway opportunities. Natan Svedolf has Timraz Olsen all over him. Headman pass, and now trying to come away is Kopech. He's turned back. LeBlanc. Rattlers have definitely looked a little bit vulnerable in transition tonight, maybe just a little too comfortable with the puck on their stick in the neutral zone. Kopech held the zone only momentarily, and now LeBlanc. LeBlanc takes a shot off a shin pad and wide. Mitchell Behrens. Behrens sidesteps a check, sits his man down. That was Svedolf. And the puck is held in only momentarily by Meaford. Back the other way, trying to come in over the line was Myzagov. His centering effort to nobody in particular. Now LeBlanc plays that into the neutral zone. And it's turned back and sent right back in by Kopech. Brannick's going to leave it there. Well, we've got a fun little bit of GMHL TV trivia for you tonight. Stay tuned. We'll have that question coming up as we head towards our second intermission. Play whistle dead on, I believe it's an offside, or might just be blowing it dead because of Meyercheek being down on the ice on that far sideline. So again, stay tuned. We got our GMHL TV trivia question coming up. Puck on the far half wall, cycled back down into the near corner. Croteau there first for Meaford in his own zone. Now Walker to the far side, O'Neill. Tied up with his man, tried to find Toivonen. That bounced over his stick. That was Ovakimian playing it into the neutral zone, and now it's sent right back in. Patrick Cullen will leave it there for Ovakimian. Ovakimian, Yanis Seitz. Stretch feed, found Plotnikov, and now in over the line come the Rattlers. Couple of moves. Meyercheek, wraparound, still Meyercheek. Back to Ovakimian. Ovakimian turns it over, and now racing ahead back the other way, Matusz Trokan. Trokan hooked and held. The Knights bench is livid. Here's Toivonen. Centering effort, off a skate. Puck is loose. Cullen with a kick save, and a great one at that, as he absolutely robbed, and I mean robbed, Sam O'Neill in front. O'Neill screaming, going back to the bench, but Patrick Cullen with a great left pad save. Not sure if you guys caught that one on GMHL TV, but he had to make a very good reactionary save. So, these two teams met in the North Division semifinal last season. It was a 3-0 win for the Bradford Rattlers. In the comments, we're asking, who did the Rattlers defeat in last year's GMHL North Division Final? That's our GMHL TV trivia question of the night, as Cullen blockers that one up into the mesh off the stick of Colby McClellan. As we tick into the back half of this hockey game, 9:37 remaining in this middle frame. Again, we invite you to throw your answers into the chat. Who did the Rattlers beat in last year's North Division Final? Walston has it knocked off his stick. Behrens holds the zone. One thing, though, that you can really see with this Knights team, this top line of Trocan, Schwar, and Walston, is that puck to the line. Croteau's shot, stopped by Cullen. Puck loose, had to make another save on the rebound. Now it's Croteau. Croteau, his shot, kicked away by Cullen. Back now, Behrens. Behrens with a shot, another blocker saved by Cullen. And getting filled in behind the play was Carlson as Mitchell Behrens stepped up on him. But one thing you notice about this Knights team, and it strikes me because the two times I've seen them this year against the Roadrunners and now the Rattlers, is their top line is just overmatched. Venice with a shot off the side of the net. It got through Brannock, but hit the side netting. And what I mean by that, it's no slight. They're great players in their own right, but when you look at the top half of this league, there's players with a lot of size and a lot of speed, and you can just see that this Knights of Meaford team is a little bit overmatched on certain nights at the top of the lineup. Certainly a hard-working bunch, though. Here's Behrens. Behrens makes a move. Still Behrens scores! Mitchell Behrens gets the Knights on the board with a fantastic individual effort, and the visitors have drawn blood. It's 5-1. So for Behrens, his 5th of the season, doing it himself. So again, our GMHL TV question of the night is, who did the Rattlers defeat in the North Division Final? I see that we've got one answer. Redirected, and a great save by Brannock as he shot the glove out and deflected it wide. Ovakimian goes cross ice for his partner Sykes. Played into the neutral zone, and now racing ahead and over the line they come. That was Vadim Berezin. Haven't seen too much of the Rattlers' 13th forward tonight. We'll come back at the end of our second intermission with the answer to the question of the night here on GMHL TV. Who did the Bradford Rattlers defeat in the division final last season en route to the Russell Cup? I see we've got one answer. Here's Venice. Jonathan Venice played ahead looking for Kopak, and now Kopak gets tied up. Here's a 3-on-0. Tim Raz-Olsen, backdoor pass. Great save, Cullen. And that's going to draw a nice little horn of approval as Patrick Cullen with a terrific save with the stick, Ryan Miller-esque. Not sure how that play developed. Long dump in. Settled down by Brannock. 7 minutes to play in this second frame. Tim Raz-Olsen finds LeBlanc, and that's cycled in deep. So for Behrens, his 5th of the year, he's having a nice year. Another turnover by the Rattlers, and able to corral it and regroup was Sherbakov. Now away comes Venice. Venice turned back at the offensive line, and Sherbakov will regroup. Sherbakov reverses, looking for Simorovsky. LeBlanc now plays it back into his own zone. That's turned over. Here's Meyerchik in alone. Oh, a great save by Brannock. He took a goal away, the hat-trick goal from Meyerchik. As Meyerchik had dangled through everybody, Brannock appeared down and out and then just reached back with his paddle. That's a great save. So, the question, who did they defeat in the North Division Final? Division Final, not the Russell Cup, the Division Final. Got a couple of answers in here. Again, GMHL TV trivia. Mamedov plays it back to the line. There's a shot, blockered away by Brannick. Now Plotnikov. Plotnikov plays it up off the wall. Long shot, redirected. Brannick with a terrific save as Gabriel Mamedov was looking for his 18th of the season on the redirect. Draw's going to come back to the right of Brannick in the Meaford zone. Rattlers leading 5-1 in this one. Now it's Tatu Toivonen. Toivonen gets over the line, flips it in deep, and he'll look to change. O'Neill going to work in the offensive zone. Quick look at our out-of-town scoreboard tonight. One game, a final from St. George, where the two teams currently battling for second, third, fourth in the South collided, and it was a 3-2 win in regulation for the Niagara Predators, Robert Turnbull's team. With a third period, it's a comeback. They were down 2-0 in that hockey game, then Sebastian Smith, Mikhail Garanin, and Shane Kaplan with 3 unanswered, and the Predators run out of St. George with a 3-2 win. Carlson backdoor pass, redirected wide by Dobretsky. Now it's Dobretsky. Backhand saucer pass to the point. Long shot, tipped down in front by Carlson. Wallstein. And Wallstein's one of those guys that I'm talking about. When you look at a first line against a first line, there's just a difference, especially in some of those North Division matchups against Wasaga, against the Rattlers. That's where Meaford is hemorrhaging goals. They're giving up goals to the top guys on other teams. Penalty coming, and well, somewhat light perhaps. Heading back to the box for the second time tonight, it's going to be Sarev. He got the stick up into the midsection of Giordano Matusz Trocan, and Trocan, well, he's a little snowy for his efforts, but I think might have done a little bit of acting on that one. Draw one back to the line, and the Knights power play will get set up here. Schwarr stripped of that puck, but a good second effort, and the Knights will regain possession here and will set up. That's Chistikov near side, stick save Cullen into the near corner. Barons, again, that net front presence, a unique look on this power play for Meaford as one of their top defensemen serves as the net front presence. Puck sent the length of the ice. Brannick is going to leave that there. Now a headman pass, Barons, in over the line, O'Neill. O'Neill has it chopped away from him by Meyercheek. And Meyercheek is going to get called for the slash as he chopped down Sam O'Neill, and now we've got some words after the fact. O'Neill and Barons, it was Mitch Barons getting mixed up. One thing about this Meaford team, they certainly come to play. No shifts off, a physical bunch. They like laying the lumber, and well, they give as good as they take. 4:27 to go in this middle frame. 5-1 Rattlers leading the Meaford Knights. And a minute 18 on the 5-on-3 beckoning for Meaford. So a golden opportunity for the visitors to get back in this hockey game. That was Meyer-Bergeron. And he has the puck back on his stick. Centering effort off the leg, and a great save, Cullen, as he kicks out the pad, or did he? The Meaford bench thinks they've scored. Patrick Cullen just made an unbelievable reactionary save. The Meaford bench thinks they've scored, but from our vantage point up here, which was admittedly not as good as the referee, who was in perfect position, Cullen kicked out that right pad and did just enough to keep it on the goal line, wedged under his pad. That is an unbelievable reactionary save from Patrick Cullen. Knights power play, though, has looked pretty good tonight. Trocan, cross ice, Wallstein. His shot hit a body, didn't make it to the net. Barons back to Wallstein, near side Trocan. Works in his shot, save Cullen, puck is loose. And Carlson will clear that. Correction, Munitz will clear that. Brannick leaves it for Trocan, and again, this Knights team, perhaps a little bit buried, a little bit hard done by with such a difficult North Division schedule, but they've got some talent. They do. Trocan on 26 points entering play tonight. Schwar is good. They got some good players on the back end as well. Now Carlson picks that puck up, makes a move. Here comes Carlson. Carlson in alone, scores! One more for the Swedish Express, pulling into the station shorthanded, and it's 6-1 Bradford. For Carlson, his team leading 32nd of the year, and this one is once again a 5-goal game. Not often you see a shorthanded goal at 5-on-3, but Isak Carlson is that kind of guy. Look ahead at what else is coming around the league. Well, if you're looking for something to do late on in your Monday evening, I'll be back on the call tomorrow night in Oshawa, about 120 clicks from here. Here's McClellan. McClellan works and scores! Colby McClellan on the power play, and just like that, the Knights get one back on the man advantage right at the end of the 5-on-3. Now they're going to try and sort out whether or not they'll still have a power play. Regardless, Colby McClellan with the absolute snipe on the power play. And looks like they are going to say that the penalty had just expired, the second Rattler penalty, so we're back to even strength. 6-2 the score. Here on GMHL TV is this game's had a little something for everybody. Some good saves, some power plays, some goals, some rough stuff. All over the map tonight. And now the officials are still having words. Personally, I thought it was pretty close. It was right on the exact second here. And you can see that Christoph Kirchmeier, the Meaford coach, along with general manager Nathan Parrish, looking for an explanation here. They think that they've still got a 42-second power play left, and we're trying to get it sorted here. We're going to throw out a second GMHL trivia question for you, since a couple of you really enjoyed that first one. So Isak Carlson's got a team-high 75 points after that shorthanded goal. Our question of the night, in addition to who did the Rattlers defeat in the North Division final last year, is who is currently second on the Rattlers in scoring? No peeking, just throw a name into the chat. Let's see how good you dedicated fans are here at the Rattlers. As I was saying, catch me tomorrow night, Durham Roadrunners, Toronto Flyers, live from Canlan, Oshawa, 9 p.m. puck drop. Full broadcast coming up, and looks like we are going to indeed stay at even strength. 3:10 to go in this one, 6-2. The Rattlers leading in the second period. So again, we got two trivia questions floating out in the GMHL TV universe for you. Who did the Rattlers beat in the North Division final last year to book a spot in the Russell Cup? And who's currently second on the Rattlers in scoring? Off the rush, that shot stopped by Braddock. Puck is loose in front. They jam away side of the net. An unbelievable effort there by McClellan as he was down on all fours and blocked the shot at the side of the net. Colby McClellan continues to impress tonight for Meaford. Now Mamadov. Mamadov into the near corner. Plays it high to Munitz. Back for Mamadov. Works around McClellan. Now Gabriel Mamadov. Cycles it low. Back to Mamadov. Works in, and a good stick save by Brannick. Puck rung around to the far side. Venice. Into the slot they come. Good active stick. There's a one-timer underneath Brannick's leg, and it stays out as Matvei Munitz almost restored the 5-goal lead. So 6-2 the score. 2:23 remaining. Carlos Verde with you, GMHL TV. It's been a real pleasure getting to know the various teams and arenas around this league. My first year in it. with the Flyers and Roadrunners. A couple players tied up there. Kurbanov, number 13, was going at it with his opposite number, Sherbakov. And now Kurbanov gets tied up, and bodies starting to fly here in a 6-2 game. Orikov stripped by Kurbanov. Played to the line, long shot, redirected just wide in front by LeBlanc, who's been one of Meaford's more energetic players today. And Kurbanov is going to take a penalty behind the play. The puck was long gone, and Kurbanov decided to go give a little cross-check after the fact, and now we're getting all kinds of bodies. LeBlanc tied up with Orikov. Well, fans in Oshawa, late on Monday nights, we like to say it's GMHL After Dark, where crazy things happen. And we are bordering on that territory tonight in Bradford, 8:35 on a Sunday night. Kurbanov's going to go to the box for the late cross-check after the play. And the Rattlers are going to go back to the man advantage. Draw's going to come to the right of Brannick in the Meaford zone. Really looking forward, though, as someone that spends a lot of time in the South Division, it's going to be fun watching how the North Division playoff picture unfolds. Croteau blocks that Carlson shot. Now Venice. Side of the net, centering effort intended for Dobretsky, broken up by Behrens. Far side, Carlson settles it down. Isak Carlson. Backdoor pass broken up by Brannick himself. Now Dobretsky. Carlson. Carlson, cross ice, near side Venice. High point Munitz. Munitz with a shot, blockered away by Brannick. Now Carlson. Carlson spins off a check in the far corner. Last minute of play in the second period. Centering effort, great save Brannick. Puck is loose at the side of the net as he robbed Dobretsky in the slot. Munitz holds the zone. Cross ice, Carlson walks in, Carlson backdoor, great save, Brannick, puck is loose and it stays out. Shane Brannick facing the firing squad tonight, and boy oh boy, he's doing a great job. Carlson works in, still Carlson, another save, Brannick. And Shane Brannick is doing it himself on the PK, and now he's got some words. Everything's kicking off here. Plotnikov got a cross-check from Croteau, and all kinds of words being exchanged. Well, there's no language barrier when it comes to after the whistle, teenager-on-teenager violence, folks. Draw's going to come to the left of Brannick. 30 seconds remaining in this second frame. Rattlers, Wasaga, the Railers are a tough and tumble team. Wouldn't want to play them in a playoff environment. Orikov, great puck movement. Puck to the far side, there's a shot. Wired wide blocker side by Sherbakov. 10 seconds left in the period. Sarev, backdoor pass, broken up, and the Knights will clear the line. No! Orikov, I thought, held the zone. Puck's going to come outside, though, as the eagle-eyed official. Number 62 in the stripes. Nothing getting by him on that far side of the blue line. 4 seconds left, and it's elementary as that puck hops up into the slot, and the horn will go on a wild second period here in Bradford. Mitchell Behrens, Colby McClellan with the goals for the visitors. David Meyercheek with the goal for the Rattlers in that middle stanza, and that is where we stand. 6-2 Rattlers lead after 40. You're watching GMHL TV's presentation of Bradford Rattlers hockey. fans, just a reminder, your GMHL TV trivia questions of the night. Who did the Rattlers defeat in the North Division final last season in the playoffs, and who is currently the second top scorer on David Mooney's Rattlers team? That is your final check-in for the trivia. We'll be back at our first whistle in period 3 with the answers. 6-2 Rattlers lead on GMHL TV. Welcome back to the BWG Leisure Center. Carlos Rudy with you as we get set for the third period between the Bradford Rattlers and the Knights of Meaford. 6-2, Bradford leading David Mooney's team in full control of this one, but nonetheless a spirited end of that second period. Rattlers will have 24 seconds on the man advantage here with fresh ice to begin period number 3. And we also have a trivia answer to pass along for you. It was indeed a win over the Wasaga Dragons that led the Rattlers to their third consecutive Russell Cup appearance, and of course they would win that and are looking to four-peat this year. Best team in the league, top to bottom, every year. This year appearing, well, almost no different. Northumberland, maybe Wasaga would like to have something to say with that. Moonitz plays it into the slot. That's batted down by Venice, but not held in. And Patrick Cullen out to play it. Cullen turns it over, centered in front, they score! Some sticky ice will get you. And Giordano Schwar, Johnny on the doorstep. It's 6-3. Meaford get another one back, shorthanded. Well, you could see Cullen was a little tiny bit, it has to be said. He was a little bit lackadaisical coming out to that puck, and you could see there's a lot of water down there by that Canadian Tire logo, and buckle up, could we be seeing something crazy tonight? Another edition of GMHL After Dark, perhaps. Still 14 seconds remaining in the penalty to Kurbanov. Still somewhat unexpected. The Meaford Knights coming back in this one. Wallstein loses that puck also in that kind of heavily watered area right around either blue line. And this time Cullen's going to stay a little closer to home. He's going to leave it and settle it down for Sherbakov. So the North Division final was Bradford defeating the Wasaga River Dragons 4-2. They would then go on and defeat North York in 5. There's David Meyercheek, sends it around to the far side. He's got a couple of goals tonight. The third-line center with his 8th and 9th of the season for the Rattlers. And here he comes now, Meyercheek. His shot off a stick and wide into that far corner. Puck to the line, held in by the Rattlers only momentarily, and now Mitchell Behrens leads the rush. Here's Behrens in over the line, makes a move, couple of toe drags. Separated from that puck there by Arsenio McKinnon, and now a little bit of dust-up between Meyercheek and Xavier LeBlanc. Seems to have found his way into the center of almost everything, and well, he has the fishbowl on, and you can tell he's a fiery kind of guy. Xavier LeBlanc likes to mix things up pretty much every shift. So again, your answers, the North Division final was against Wasaga, and they went on to defeat North York in 5 in the Russell Cup final, the three-peat, and then the current second top scorer after Isak Carlson on this Rattler team is indeed Adam Dobretsky, who was on 29 goals and 55 points entering play tonight. Plotnikov centering effort, nobody home, and now back the other way. Here come the Knights on the counter. Got a little bit of life here. In over the line they come. That's Tatu Toivonen, sends it around into the far corner where Meyer Bergeron will give chase. Now puck in the neutral zone, settled down and sent right back in by Dobeka. Wrong side of center, and that's going to go for an icing against Meaford. So congratulations, Laura Moran. Big win tonight, getting both of the trivia questions correct. We thank you for tuning in and give you your prizes a large shout out here on the GMHL TV broadcast. Laura, thanks for playing Rattlers trivia in the second period. Side of the net, Carlson's one-timer goes wide. Puck squirts up off the glass, and Brannick will hang on for a face-off to his right. 18-12 remaining in this third period. Full credit to the Knights of Meaford. They are keeping this one not just respectable, but somewhat interesting here into the third period. And given how this game started with a couple of high wristers over Brannick's shoulder and in early in this first period, when it was 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, you didn't think that this game was going to be 6-3 in the third, and here we are. Munitz cycles it down low. Sarev plays it around, and unable to hold the line was Venas. Near side, now it's Munitz. Munitz, long dump into the far corner. Croteau will settle that down. Croteau, near side. That's off a stick and held in at the line. Here's Carlson. Carlson works around his man. Still Carlson. Wraparound effort. Didn't make it to the front of the net. Sarev, Dobretsky. Here's Dobretsky. Leaves that there for Venas. Venas centering effort, and he gets drilled after the fact. That was Michel Croteau stepping up on him, the Meaford captain. Now it's Mitchell Behrens. Here comes Behrens in over the line. Behrens has his shot sent wide on the redirect. Now far side, Munitz. Munitz, headman feed. He finds Mizagov. Here's Mizagov barreling in on net. He's taken down, and well, that's about as clear a penalty as you'll get. And then he shoots the puck towards an official. So Timraz Olsen's going to go. And a different-minded official could have given Timraz Olsen another 2 for firing the puck towards the linesman and down the ice. So the Norwegian forward's going to sit for 2 or less, and the Rattler power play will go back to work here. Mizagov with some words for guess who? Xavier LeBlanc once again on the way back to the bench. Rattlers back to the power play. They've looked dangerous tonight, but haven't always found the mark. Orikov. Far side, cross ice feed. Now there's a shot, stopped by Brannick. Puck is loose, and Brannick gets drilled in front. He wanted a call as he was barreled into by a Rattler forward. I don't really think there was much of a push or anything, but no call coming. There's still words being had. Brannick's not happy. He's a fiery cat. Now it's Sarev. Sarev, far half wall. Finds Orikov. Orikov, his shot, pad save, puck is loose. Settled down in the slot by the Rattlers. Sherbakov. Sherbakov cycles it down low. Rattler power play goes to work. There's a backdoor pass. Unable to get a stick on it is Sherbakov. Now a centering effort there from Boletov. Mamedov, Orikov. Mamedov works the high point. Mamedov leaves that. High point. Here's Sarev. Sarev can't get a centering effort on target. Now he plays it back to the line. There's a shot. Brannick the save. It was off the stick of Boletov. Correction, Orikov on that far point. So 6:3 to go, or 6:3 to score, 15:45 to go in this third period. Sunday Night Hockey on GMHL TV. And oh boy, we've got some serious words being exchanged here between the Knights bench. I believe that's Nathan Parrish. And we're having a very, very heated exchange between our veteran official with the bands tonight. And I think that's Mr. Parrish down there. Draw won by the Knights, but immediately cycled low by Munitz. Now it's Carlson. Isak Carlson up high. There's a drive and a save by Brannick to deny Munitz's point shot. That's going to draw a crowd, and Brannick had his stick up in the midsection of a Rattler man on the forecheck. And really, I can't blame him. Shane Brannick has taken a beating tonight. He's seen a lot of rubber, and he's been bowled over a few times. Draw's going to come back to his right. 39 seconds left in the penalty to Timraz Olsen. Here's Carlson. Carlson. Munitz. Munitz goes cross ice. He was looking for Venas. And the Knights will take advantage and clear that all the way down to Patrick Cullen. Cullen turns it over to Schwarr. Cycled back down low. Bad angle shot. Cullen the save. He'll leave that for his defenseman. Now it's Carlson. Isak Carlson winds up. In over the line right side. Dobretsky back to Carlson. Had his stick lifted. Now Carlson spins off a check. Still Carlson. Dobretsky. Dobretsky saucered to the point. Backdoor pass. Carlson works in. Carlson centering effort. Dobretsky had it knocked off his stick. Now the Knights counter 3-on-2. Schwarr. Giordano Schwarr. In and around Munitz, but he's bumped off it by Venas. Now Carlson makes a move. Nifty move. Carlson backdoor pass intended for Dobretsky. It rolled off his stick. Still Dobretsky. Hooked and held off that, and now a foot race for it, but end of a long shift, and Schwar's going to have to head for a change. He'd been out there for most of the PK. Carlson ahead looking for Dobretsky. That's broken up. And bodies still flying here. The Knights are still trying to let them know that they're in this hockey game. 14:10 to play in this third frame. Dump in, held there by Cullen behind the net. Reverse now for Ovakimian. Played to the line, knocked down and held in by McClellan. Cullen plays that, but it's turned over. And long shot, Cullen's going to hang on for the draw. Meaford bench wanted a too many men penalty, and now we're getting some intensive whistle blowing. Well, the temperature in this one is certainly ratcheted up. Chistakov and Orikov having some words with Sherbakov down by the Rattler bench. Call it the hat trick of Ovs down there by the Bradford blue line. Let's see one of our young fans down there by the Rattler bench getting their high fives on the way out for period number 3. But all things considered, not a clean effort tonight by any stretch from this Rattler team. And over the line, Mamadov tried to send it on net. He was knocked off it. Now Mamadov, near half wall, played up the wall, held in by Orikov. Mamadov cycles it low. Now centering effort finds Mamadov. He cycles it back to the point. Orikov, cross ice, one-timer, fanned on, worked out. Rattlers retain control only momentarily. 13 and change left in this hockey game. Orikov. Now Sherbakov. Headman pass, broken up. As Dobeka got a stick up on his man. Now here come the Knights. In over the line, Schwar drops it off. Trokan scores! Matusz Trokan off the feed from Giordano Schwar. And it's 6-4. Here come the Knights of Meaford. Well, Matusz Trokan with his team leading 11th of the season. And Meaford are within 2. 12:59 to play in this hockey game. And this is just highly, highly unexpected. You think about how this game started, you think about the fact that this is first versus last in the North Division. And yet here we are. And it's been that stretch feed trying to clear the Rattlers zone, which has caused them problems. Mizagov works in, bad angle shot, broken up by Croteau. So Trokan's 11th of the season. And the Knights of Meaford making a game out of it. There's a shot from the line. Whistled wide off the stick of Venas. Rattlers will set things up. Now it's Venas. Works the line, long shot, save Brannick, puck is loose, the backhand effort went wide. And a couple of Rattlers knocked down, and we've got a slash behind the play, and now Mitchell Behrens is going to go. The question is, did the Rattlers just toast their own power play? Or did the Knights just toast their own power play? The original penalty is on Behrens for the slash. Now, did they get... Yeah, looks like they are going to get both. So the original slash is on Behrens. Mizagov's going to go for the after effects, and Carlson is not happy with his teammate. And the draw's coming all the way back into the Bradford zone here. So this is interesting. We've got offsetting, but the face-off comes all the way back into the Bradford zone. 12:11 to go here. The question is, are they offsetting, or do we have fours? Looks like we're going to have 4-on-4 here. So 2 minutes at 4-on-4. You'd have to think that that benefits the Rattlers with their speed advantage. Trokan wins the draw. Back to Chistakov, but he's stripped of it. Trying to race ahead. Dobretsky has it taken away from him by Trokan. So the Knights will start ahead here with McClellan. He's been so good tonight. Leaves it for Giordano Schwar. Schwar didn't see an easy route of access, so he sends it in deep. A weird bounce off the in wall, and now Venas. Carlson. Carlson's going to settle things down. Here comes Isak Carlson, the top scorer in the league. Lugs it in over the right wing line. Another move, Carlson. Still Carlson, down below the goal line. Leaves it for Olakimian. Now a backdoor pass. Great save, Brannick. Puck is loose, and Brannick finds it with the glove. A couple of great saves. McClellan was tied up with his man, and now a headman pass. Here's Schwar. Has Chistakov with him. Schwar holds up, checks back, leaves it for Shipley. He turns it over. Here comes Carlson. Carlson in alone on a break. The top scorer in the league. Carlson has it roll off his stick. As Isak Carlson was looking for what would have been his 32nd of the season. Now and over the line, there's a shot by Wallstein, stopped by Cullen, but not really gloved clean. He's struggled a little bit tonight. Ovakimian played ahead. Now here the Rattlers come back in over the line. Carlson with a shot, shouldered away by Brannick. Knights can counter. There's a lot of open ice out there. Meyer-Bergeron chips and chases around Orikov. Sent around towards the Rattler bench, where it's corralled there by Gabriel Mamedov. Here comes Mamedov. Mamedov, right wing side, has it knocked off his stick by Toivonen. Mamedov recovers. He'll settle that down and leave it for Sherbakov. Now Orikov. Back to Sherbakov, and we are back to even strength. Not even strength, but 5-on-5. Glove saved by Brannick on the weak wrister there from Mamedov. Face-off will stay in the Meaford zone with 10:04 to play, and you can see Patrick Cullen is still working on a few things down there in the Rattler net behind the play, and it hasn't been the cleanest performance tonight. You wonder, with Nikita Radchenko playing so well in the win over Wasaga. Orikov shot wide, big bounce off the inboard, settled down by Walker, and now Walker. Outlet pass looking for Xavier LeBlanc. He couldn't find that puck. But again, the Rattlers are struggling with that outlet feed tonight. Here's Mamedov, makes a move. Mamedov working in, great save, Brannick. Puck is loose. A couple of terrific saves from Shane Brannick. Another shot and another save by Brannick. And it's funny, I was speaking with an executive from the Rattlers before this game about Shane Brannick, and that, I'd seen him give up some weak goals this year. And boy, has he proven me wrong tonight. He gave up one or two in the first, but boy, the pros have certainly outweighed the cons. He's been excellent tonight. Turnover in the D zone there by the Knights, and now here's Plotnikov. Plotnikov makes a move, scores! Mikhail Plotnikov with a highlight reel finish. And it's 7-4 with a big-time insurance marker. Plotnikov's 15th of the year. And some much-needed breathing room for the Rattlers. It's 7-4. That's just a phenomenal individual effort from Mikhail Plotnikov. They call him Misha. And that should put this game to bed. Boy, oh boy, a lot has changed since our decision desk here at GMHL TV called this game at 3-0 in the first period. Meyerchik played ahead into the neutral zone. Now Schwar settles that down for his teammate. Chistakov tried to gain the offensive line. Second effort, and the Knights were able to send that in deep sights. Plotnikov gets the credit, and in over the line, here's Holander. Holander into the near corner, wrapping backhand effort on the spinorama, didn't make it in front. Now Seitz. Seitz, his shot rifled high and wide. McClellan will settle that down, played up off the glass, held in by Meyerchik, and a good second effort from Meyerchik. Still Meyerchik. David Meyerchik. And that time, one too many moves. Seitz couldn't hold the zone. 8 minutes to go in this one. Headman pass finds O'Neill. O'Neill, toe drag. He gets dropped at the offensive line, and he is down and hurt, and you'd never like to see that. Sam O'Neill got tied up, kind of knee on knee. He's up, which is good, not putting a ton of weight on that right leg. About as clear as day a trip as you'll see in any league. Brian Kopech, the fourth-line center for the Rattlers, heads to the box. Not really sure what Isak Karlsson can be arguing about there. So, fresh power play for the Knights of Meaford. They trail this one by 3, and O'Neill is going to head off. He's normally on this top unit for Meaford, but he tried to gut it out and couldn't. That shot off a stick, off of Dobretsky's stick, and up out of play. He got it in the lane and broke up that point shot. 7:51 to go in this final frame. Rattlers leading and still in control. Wallstein turns it over, and a good second effort there by Chistikov holds the zone. Now Behrens, Mitchell Behrens into that far corner. Still Behrens. Behrens makes a nice toe drag near side. Wallstein works off the wall. His shot stopped by Cullen, but a big rebound again. And luckily for the netminder, the Rattlers penalty kill can clear the zone. But with Cullen, it's interesting. You look at him, he's got all the tools. He's very positionally sound. He's got great reflexes. We've seen it tonight, but just has struggled at times this season, and you wonder, he has played the lion's share for this Rattlers team, but is Radchenko an option? Now Karlsson, centering effort, they score! Jonathan Menas off the feed from Isak Karlsson, and it's 8-4 Rattlers. So Venice with his 8th of the season. It'll go down as a short-handed goal, second of the night. For Bradford, and this one is very much on ice. Jonathan Venice out of Sweden. And that was a pretty sweet finish off the feed from Karlsson. Shipley over for McClellan, and that's turned over by Meaford. Shipley now in over the line right side, avoids the worst of that check from Molotov. And Roman Orikov will play that past McClellan and back all the way down the ice with 6.5 to play in this third period. Here's Mayer Bergeron. Mayer Bergeron in over the line, the Frenchman. Played it into the near corner. Played to the line, Tim Raz-Olsen. Couple bodies come together along the near side of the Bradford zone. Now it's Toivonen. Toivonen back to the line. Shipley. Shipley tried to sidestep his man. It cycled back down low. 5 seconds left in the Meaford power play. And again, Cullen can't grab a point shot with his glove. He has struggled with that in the second half of this game. Shipley, headman pass, Toivonen. Here's Toivonen. Avoids a hip check, turns it over to Meyercheek. Here comes David Meyercheek. Passed ahead for Hollander. Now he drops that, looking for Meyercheek. Mitchell Behrens back on it. He'll corral it behind his own net. Pass up the left wing side. Headman pass intended for Shepard goes too far. That's Keir Shepard, number 66. Haven't seen a ton of him as that puck sent the length of the ice. And icing called against Bradford with 5:25 remaining in this hockey game. So the Rattlers looking to add another league champion banner. There's several up here at the BWG Leisure Center. Croteau can't hold the offensive line. Hollander was bearing down on him. Now Behrens. Nice outlet feed finds Trokan, and here comes Wallstein. Eric Wallstein drives around his man. Still Wallstein backhands that one wide. Mitch Behrens now. Behrens can't hold the zone, and he chops his man down. No penalty coming. Croteau stripped of the puck by Meyercheek. Meyercheek then gets a bump from behind, and now Wallstein will wind up left wing side. Eric Wallstein separated from that puck by Ovakimian. Now it's Ovakimian, Arsenik. Headman pass up the right wing side. Mizagov in on the forecheck as that puck bounces awkwardly off Brannick. And now Mizagov, centering effort. And I'm not really sure what Mitchell Behrens is doing, trying to toe drag at the side of his own net. Trying to work in with it there was Natan Svedolf. But back the other way come the Knights. 4 minutes to go in this one. 8-4, Rattlers in control. Puck rolls to Cullen. He'll stick that in the far corner for Venas, our most recent Rattler goal scorer. Natan Svedolf cycles it down below the goal line. And Svedolf lays the body. Puck to the line, held in by Venas. Tried to make one too many moves, though. Second effort, and the Rattlers are able to hold the zone with Mamedov doing a nice job. Here's Venas. Venas tried to find Mamedov, and again a D-zone turnover from the Knights, as this game has just slowed right down. And, a little cross-check from Svedolf there. He took a little chunk out of Lucas Karanen behind the play, and Karanen is going to give him a little shot back. Little tit for tat. Here comes Sarev. Sergei Sarev, drop pass. Here's Mamedov. Mamedov, centering effort, ends up all the way back on the point on Venas' stick. Now it's Mamedov. Mamedov, side of the net, great save. Brannick, puck loose, they score! Mamedov with the exclamation mark, and words are being exchanged. Everyone's a little frisky on GMHL After Dark. It's 9-4 Rattlers. And a nice goal there. For the Rattlers, putting an exclamation mark on this one. And really just an interesting night at the arena, to say the least. Really. That's what it's been tonight. Lots going on. Final 3 minutes here, and you might get something crazy as well down the stretch here. Holander cycles it down low, looking for Somarovsky. Tried to find his point man, but it's turned over. Wallstein. Now Schwarr. Nice nifty stick work there. Took a big bump, but ended up sticking it into the offensive zone. So the Rattlers end up pulling away, as, well, a lot of people expected entering this one. This is what we expected out of the gate in this hockey game. With the Rattlers off to a flying start in the first. There's a centering effort. Shot stopped, and we do have a goaltending change as Jonathan Gilroy is into this hockey game for the final 3 minutes or so, on in place of Shane Brannick, who faced easily 50 shots tonight, if not more. So Gilroy, the 18-year-old out of Cambridge, Ontario, making his first appearance, according to Elite Prospects, had an .842 save percentage in the NJHL out in Alberta. A couple of players ended up in the GMHL this season from that loop. I think it's fair to say the GMHL is a little bit more, a lot more legitimate than that league. There's a centering effort. Shepard can't get a shot away. Minute 50 remaining in this one. Knights will be hitting the road back towards Owen Sound. And over the line they come. Kopech, his shot. Gilroy the save, and he'll hang on for a face-off. So Jonathan Gilroy. Interesting EP page, to say the least. Came from Rampage Hockey in the PHL. Not entirely sure where that is. Very funky. Dressed in 3 games with the Vulcan Rampage, and I've been to Vulcan, Alberta. There is not a lot there. I have to say that Meaford, and being a close drive to Barrie, Owen Sound, Toronto, would have to be a massive upgrade on Vulcan, Alberta. Great people out there. Spent some time in Pincher Creek myself, working for the paper there. Final 90 seconds of this one. Mamedov. Played ahead looking for Vadim Berezin. That was flipped back and redirected onto the stick of Cullen. Cullen turns it over again, that time to Tim Raz-Olsson. Now Tim Raz-Olsson, he gets drilled by Munitz, and Tim Raz-Olsson gets flattened, kind of double team there in the Bradford zone. Final minute of play in this third frame. Puck loose, side of the Bradford net. Munitz plays that into the far corner, watched by LeBlanc. LeBlanc wins that puck niftily, centered in front, and Cullen makes a save. Took a little shot after the fact. Played ahead by the Rattlers, and they're in over the line. 3-on-1, centering, they score! Welcoming Jonathan Gilroy to this game with a "Hey, how are ya?" Gabriel Mamedov with his second in as many minutes makes it 10-4 Bradford. So that's going to just about do it for this one. 39 seconds left in this hockey game, and it is all over but the crying. David Mooney's Rattlers will improve to 22-6 on the season. Boy, oh boy, a year that started off somewhat timid by their standards. I remember they came through and played the Flyers. I think they were 4-2 at the time. Has really picked up in a big way. They move 4 points clear of Wasaga. However, the Dragons do have a couple of games in hand. So, boy, that race for home ice advantage in what is almost certainly the North Division final is really going to be something. Final 7 minutes, and a massive hit comes flying, and now bodies are everywhere, all over the ice. And trying to throw something at the horn there was Nick Millions. That's going to do it. So again, the Rattlers improve to 22-6 on the season. Meaford falls to 6-20. And while the final score is not going to reflect it, this was actually a pretty credible road performance from the Knights. They showed no quit, very physically active in this one. And they hung around in this hockey game. There was a time, there was a place where this was a 6-4 game. And all things considered, a very respectable performance on the road from Meaford. Of course, they were on the back end of a 2-2. They lost to North York yesterday, so they have no points to show for the weekend, but well, two pretty competitive games against teams that would be considered better than them. Final score tonight from the BWG Leisure Center. It's the Bradford Rattlers 10, the Meaford Knights 4. I've been Carlos Rudy filling in for JR. Thanks for spending your Sunday night with us. It's the Rattlers 10, the Meaford Knights 4. We'll see you next time on GMHL TV.